Welcome to today's edition of the Academy. Today we're going to cover a topic that's a little bit more thinking. It's more conceptual, and it may be a little difficult to comprehend this. You might need to think about it a little bit. But there is a military science concept called the economy of force. This is a strange name, but it kind of, as I talk through it, you'll start to see why the word choice actually makes sense. The goal here is to maximize each unit. This doesn't mean making it the best it possibly can be. No, it means taking that unit and using it in the most effective way possible. Okay. You really have a lot of choice in that matter, and it all starts with the list build. In actuality, the take-all-comers competitive lists that you see out there, they actually do this. They are good at force economy. And the way you start this is by looking at the various mission types you can give your units. That's where it all starts. So think about what the units are going to have to do within a given game. You have to know your meta, obviously, what's possible, what might not be possible. But you're going to have objective holders. You're going to have anti-armor units. You're going to have anti-horde units, anti-flyer, anti-psyker, right? There's a special category called the anti-tech, Terminator equivalent unit, okay? They're the ones that are going to be able to handle the Armor 2 infantry, the ones that really annoy the heck out of most of us. You're going to have a mission type called decoy. Decoys are a perfectly valid use of a unit. Shield. You might be more familiar with the terms of speed bump or bubble wrap, but it really is use them as a shield. And then rapid response. These are the faster units or the deep strikers. Okay, so those are the general missions you can give units. Now, every unit has its inherent strengths and weaknesses, and that's very important. You have to know your codex and know your units very well to identify those two things, strengths and weaknesses. And what you want to do is match each unit's proposed mission, its purpose, and align it to that strength. For example, when taking objectives, you don't want to send just one of your fast attack units there if you know your opponent has a combined arms detachment and several troops. It's a recipe for losing that objective, right? Not a good match. Now, you may be in a position where that's the only way you possibly have a chance of taking that. However, when you're designing your list, you're designing the initial tactics, that's not the primary mission, or shouldn't be the primary mission of that fast attack choice. You should have a troop choice that would also be able to secure the objective, or some other unit that has special abilities to do that. Another one would be, can a unit actually threaten the opponent? So I'm going to use the outflanking as a specific example. Is the unit that's going to outflank going to be able to actually threaten what is in the opponent's backfield? If it isn't, it really doesn't have a purpose outflanking. You're not really going to do much. So I'll use the war buggies for orcs as a good example. That is a 5 buggy unit potentially can come and outflank, 12-inch move. They're fast, and they have flamers. They're actually scorches, so they're strength 5, AP 4. They're pretty serious. Actually, it might be strength 6. Well, anyway, they're devastating against a lot of things. They can actually hurt armor. But is there anything back there in the backfield that they will actually be able to hurt? If you've got fortifications in back, or you've got things with 3-up armor or invuln saves, if you've got the only thing they're going to be able to get close to is the side armor with 13 side armor on a Leman Russ, that unit probably isn't the best choice for an outflanking unit or to give it that mission. It just can't do much. Now, of course, you have an Imperial Guard regiment back there with a whole bunch of infantry. Will go to town. Tau, fantastic. Just lay those flamers down. Don't care if they got an Aegis defense line or their fancy little moving defense lines. Pop those flamers on, you can hurt them, and that's what you want to do. So match the strength to the opponent's weakness. Now, of course, it doesn't. Another weakness it has, it's only 2 hull points. It's got 10 armor all around. Can't jink. So, rifle fire, pulse rifle fire, for example, will total him. Heavy bolter fire, heck, honestly, bolt gun fire can kill him. So it is a fragile unit, but it can be devastating and can pose a threat. So again, there's a strength versus weakness. So pick it very carefully. Now, that's just the starting point. Okay, finding the missions and aligning each unit with its strength aligned to that particular mission. Now, what matters here, though, is you're trying to minimize the number of units that are participating in a particular effort. Okay, so what you want to do is make sure that you don't need 5 units that have the ability to take out a tank and have to use all 5 units to shoot at that tank. You want to make sure you got 1 or 2 units that can deal with that threat on their own. That frees the other 3 up to shoot at something else and deal with a different threat. That's how you want to make sure this happens. So having a platoon, 3 different platoon squad, infantry platoon, for example, with the guard, or a guardian squad with a bright lance, las cannon, bright lance, either way. If you have several of those, they can only do 1 hull point per. But if you instead go for the heavy weapons squad, that's 3 of those weapons. 1 unit firing 3 that can take off 3 hull points. You have a single flyer that can, a Ravager has 3 shots with bright lance. The Crimson Hunter has 4 shots, strength 8, so against armor 12, and all out of side armors is going to be able to do some serious damage. It can lay down 4 hull points. It has the potential of taking it out itself. 2 of those, you just minimize the number of units that have to fire at a particular threat. And that's what you're trying to do. Because you need to minimize the number of units that are going to be forced to direct their fire at something that something else should have been able to take care of. Now what you need to do is, now you've got your army built, you've selected the missions for everything, you need to figure out where's your primary effort going to be. Now, in a Maelstrom mission, there could be quite a number of changes throughout the game. You've got half the deck is about holding an objective, part of the deck is about killing something, assault or shooting. Half the deck is part of the deck is kill a flyer, kill this, kill that. So what you need to do is identify for the mission objectives, whether it's a mission objective on a Maelstrom card or a mission objective that you've got in your head based on what you're facing, and then apply the most effective unit against that goal first. So if you have, I'll use an example, a Leman Russ with the Vanquisher cannon, and it's got a las cannon front, and let's say it's got the multi-Melta sponsons. You don't need Melta with strength 8 to do damage to a tank. You just need the strength 8 to be able to penetrate the armor. So 13, it's fine. That's 4 shots that can hit, get into, and take off hull points. It's in the best position with an armor bane, a strength 9, and 2 strength 8s, assuming you can hit, especially if it's a command tank. Throw Pask in there, we're going to talk about a lot of armor pain. Now, that is, hopefully that will do the deed. Get rid of that objective, take care of that. If not, you'll add another unit to it. If you start with the weakest unit and work your way up, then you're starting to add more units into that could have fired at something else. So always work with the strongest, the unit that's most likely to affect the outcome that you want. Then you move on to the next goal you have. And then with the remaining troops, or not necessarily troops, but units you have, pick them next. The most effective remaining unit to achieve that objective. And then work your way down. So what I see a lot of players do is they start at one on the table and then just start shooting and just do stuff. They're not thinking through necessarily where is this unit's force best applied. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. So be a little more deliberate in your target selection and which units fire first. There's also the potential, remember, You use that. You guys know this already. You pop a transport, and stuff gets out. The other things can shoot, so you want to make sure the other things are still there to shoot. So that's just the textbook example of why you want to apply the most efficient unit to tackle that one objective. In this case, popping a transport. Make it go first, the most effective unit, because then you're only firing one unit at it to get the job done instead of 3 or 4. So, now, with the new bunch of formations that have come out, new combined arms attachment structures you can come up with, there are quite a few situations where you may have to take a unit you don't normally use. And oftentimes we think of it, we often call it a tax. It's the formation tax. In order for me to take this, I need to take this. And I have to spend 50 points in order to get what I really want. So 50-point tax. No. You can look at it that way, but I would prefer you look at it in a slightly different way. Again, look at the unit's strengths, look at its weaknesses, look at that mission list, and find the mission that unit's best for. And that's how you should use it. Yeah, I remember when the Decurion detachment came out. Now, people were talking about, oh, this is GW's way of getting more money, getting you to buy units that people don't usually play. And though there was truth to that, the fact of the matter is, I recently started hearing that, oh man, those Tomb Blades are pretty good. It's like, okay, this person has been saying, I gotta go get Tomb Blades now in order to use a detachment. I don't like Tomb Blades. I don't blah, blah, blah. Now they believe them, because what happened is they learned how to use them. They identified their strength and began applying it to the proper mission, covering their weaknesses. So that's what you need to do. So take the tax, but don't think of it as a tax. Think of it as a unit that you have to learn, because every unit has a place in the Army. No, it might not be the most effective. That's why they don't necessarily use them in competitive lists, but it has a purpose. You can find it, you can use it, and then you're maximizing that unit's potential. Very important. So think of these specific things that you want to give that type of unit, because they may not be really good at any one of those other missions. Very few troops you wouldn't want to take, so you're most likely not going to have an objective secured tax. So we'll go, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that, but it could be an effective counter. This special tax unit could be a very effective counter to a particular unit out there. In the case of these Tomb Blades, in fact, they were probably better as a reaction force, and they would be able to steal objectives. Not necessarily secure them, but definitely steal them from another non-troop unit. It could be a unit buffer. These are ablative wounds. Perfect legitimate use for them. Put them in front as a shield to prevent something from getting to you. They could sit in the back holding one of your objectives, freeing up one of your more effective units to move forward and do something else that it's better designed to do. It could be a decoy. It could be annoying. I'll use the Tomb Blades as an example. No one likes to have jet bikes flitting about the field, turbo boosting, getting their back lines to get rear armor shots and all that. That's a threat. Yet, if you do that, you're forcing your opponent to respond, or hopefully react to those Tomb Blades, or Dakajets, or not Dakajets, sorry, the Deffkoptas, in the case of orcs. They have to deal with those. So they're shooting at those instead of shooting at something else that's maybe more valuable to you. So those are very good examples. Before we end this, I want to kind of make a couple comments about some of the mission types, because now that you kind of see where I was going with this whole concept of the economy of force, and trying to maximize each unit, I want to talk about the shield, the rapid response unit, and the decoy. So decoy, I've kind of used the jet bikes as an example, but Wraith Knight, very scary thing. Imperial Knight, very scary. They can be dealt with. All of those types of units that draw a response from the opponent to make them want to attack it serve as excellent decoys. Something that forces the opponent to take shots at it so it's not shooting something else of yours. You could also, a slight variation on the decoy theme is use a unit to provide what looks like a threat that you may not actually be intending to give yet, So it makes the opponent distracted. It's almost like putting an opponent in check in chess. Send a particular unit off into one corner, make it look like you are trying to take out a particular unit or secure a certain objective, especially if you're playing that secretive type of Maelstrom mission. That forces them to think about dealing with that unit instead of dealing with something else they might need to deal with. Okay, so that's another aspect of the decoy mission. Shield, we've already talked about speed, the speed bump bubble wrap terminology, but anytime you need to prevent another unit from getting to you from a charge or give you a cover save, you put it out front. That is what you can do. Make them this odd unit that you may not have a better use for. Give it the job of being that shield, of being in the way so that it has to be charged first, or it has to be shot first. Maybe it needs to hold an objective so that the opponent can't. They actually have to send in either kill the unit or they have to send in a troop to secure the objective. So here again, it's a shield. It's preventing them from just camping on that and shooting something else of yours. It's basically giving you a buffer. Okay, and rapid response, I want to talk a little bit more about any fast units. So fast transports are especially, because if they're dedicated transports with troops, they get objectives secured. And of course, jet bikes, whether they're troops in Eldar Codex, they're fast attack in Dark Eldar, but those can move very far in one turn. Yeah, you're giving up your chance to shoot, but so what? You're reaching out to secure an objective or take an objective and earn points. Those units that can go fast skimmers, fast tanks or fast vehicles, jet bikes, bikes in general, they can move 12 plus, almost like 24 inches, but it is a total of 24. Yeah, so that's a pretty good distance on a 6 foot by 4 foot table. So those are your rapid response units, moving quickly to get to objectives or to counter a threat or to get in the way between something valuable you have and a threat that's coming. That's how you want to use it. So to interfere, to interdict, to threaten, and to secure objectives or take objectives. And then deep strikers, I don't see a lot of real careful consideration sometimes of where the deep strikers come in, aside from where they want to attack the very first turn. Drop pods are really where I want to focus on here, because obviously the rest of the deep strikers, they jump in, they jump around. I mean, they move wherever they need to. But drop pods, they've got this one unit, this vehicle that's stuck in it. It's never going to move, right? In that case, again, rapid response concept. You're going to respond to where your opponent is moving. If they have an objective they need to take, or that you think they're going to get a card in Maelstrom, you want to put that drop pod right on one of those objectives. If it's troop dedicated transport, it's objective secured, that's really a pain in the neck to your opponent. The Space Marine Tactical Squad might be dead. They might have moved on to the next mission that they've got to do, but that drop pod is an annoyance. Of course, it's also shooting stuff in the back with its two shots or its blast, annoying in the back. But you're able to respond to, okay, where is my opponent going to move? What are they trying to go after? You respond with the drop pod to prevent them from hitting that objective, or you may even block line of advance. So you could drop it in the middle of, in front of an orc line that's coming at you. Drop pod comes out one way, and then you have a line of infantry 6 inches coming out there. You run them a little bit further, and you have a wall that prevents your opponent from coming in. They have to deal with that threat before they get to you. So again, you are responding with those units to address particular situations that are on the battlefield. So that's just another variation of that particular rapid response mission. Okay, so that's what I had for you today. Hope you found it useful. I hope it kind of made sense. The economy of force concept is critical to making you successful, so that you are bringing the most combat capability within the point limit you have and using it the most effectively. Okay? So share, like, and subscribe. Let me know if this is helping you. If you got any concept ideas you want me to talk about, please leave them in the comments below and we'll get to them in the future. All right, thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye.